It's time to talk with Jay Foss.
Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you too, Jay Foss.
The magic happens when you have the right person in the right place at the right time.
If we're having fun, everyone else is going to have fun naturally.
Keep it local radio.
I'm obsessed with transformations on this show. And so I guess that in this case, you are that paradigm shift. You are the thing that transforms people. That's what people call me.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in.
But then the question is everyone tuned into the right frequency?
Are you tuned in?
Making our corner of the world a little brighter.
Did you make the right decision here? Like, are you, did you bite off more than you can chew?
In figuring out what makes people tick whenever we start something new.
Yeah.
There's always that question of
raising your inner voice.
Wait, was this too much? Did I start hiking a mountain that's a little too high for my level of experience?
Jay Foss.
It's a quote by Thoreau. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
Not just another talk show.
We cover all things that make us human.
It's time to be heard.
How can my values and how can these inner thoughts that I have help me be a more whole human being?
Online and on air.
We can't legislate being a good, decent human being. So what can we do? We can become more active in this community.
Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hey, party people. Thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, this is Raising Your Inner Voice, the show that's all about you and that inner voice that is just continually popping up and popping into your life. And I appreciate you taking a look at it with me here on Sunday evening, this Sunday evening. And we delve into different topics each week. This week, we are talking about how joy is a choice. And are you choosing to live your life joyfully, perhaps despite circumstances, or maybe in addition to circumstances that you're facing? What spurred this conversation idea off for me is I'm a regular reader of the Center for Action and Contemplation. They have a daily meditation that they send out. And about a week ago, one caught my eye. And the title to this article was Pathways to Joy. It's by a former faculty member who passed away back in October, Dr. Barbara Holmes. And she describes how we can find joy through practice and surrender, two topics that we've covered on this show before. But thinking about living your life with joy as a choice is something that I think is worth pursuing and worth looking into more. So I'm going to read some clips and some snippets from that daily meditation on the show this evening, and also just have some other ideas that might spark interest in you. And we're not going to be talking about things that actually do bring you joy, because we've covered that in so many other episodes. Things in your life that make you come alive. What's the music that you're paying attention to in life? That's an ongoing topic on this show, and would love to have you chime in with that whenever you can. But the topic for this evening is how joy itself is a choice. Are you choosing joy? Hopefully some of the conversation will inspire you and give you momentum and motivation to think about choosing joy. So in the daily meditation from the Center for Action and Contemplation, Dr. Barbara Holmes writes, joy is a choice. Our lives are so short. To live with joy seems to be a no-brainer. Why waste time on issues that we can't control? Your body holds memories of both joyful and difficult moments in your life. Think about something that made you angry, and your body will supply the distress and angst to go with the memory. Think about joy and happy moments in your life, and your whole body smiles. Joy offers a peace that surpasses all understanding. Once you experience joy, Once you find those inner pathways, it leaves markers towards those inner resources so that you never lose sight of them again. That's an end quote from the first paragraph. So, yeah, I mean, would love to have you chime in. If you do want to chime in, feel free to comment on any platform that you're listening on. Or if you want to send me a voice message, call into the show live. You're welcome to 617 843 5393. And does this talk about joy resonate with you as much as it's resonating with me? And how we can choose joy in our lives? Kind of regardless of what our circumstances and moments that we experience are. Would love to have you join the conversation. Continuing on with the meditation from Dr. Holmes. So, how do we foster embodied presence and joy? She believes we do it through practice and through meditation. Left to your own devices, the natural state of the human brain is wandering and a critical mind. Meditation helps bring that chaos into a more peaceful state. If it's difficult, begin with sitting in silence. Let your mind do what it wants before slowly bringing it into the present moment. Use music if it's helpful. Use music if it helps. The second thing she would suggest is to awaken to the joy in nature. Purposely pay attention to sunsets and sunrises, to the sounds of nature and other expressions of joy in the environment. Third, she suggests that you develop an appreciation for the everyday graces, the sound of children playing, the traffic that won't let us get home when we want to, but allows a pause in our frenetic going. End quote. Sitting in silence. What do you think about sitting in silence? Does that usually ruminate and give you more joy in choosing to live your life in a joyful stance? Is it maybe you think that, Jay, you're glossing over the hardships in life? Joy isn't something that can always be chosen. Outside circumstances do have an effect on our interior lives. Don't gloss over this, Jay. Joy may be a choice, but it's not always an easily chosen one. But I think it's worth choosing regardless. And are you finding, I mean, we've talked about nature on this show before. We've had guests on who are proponents of nature. Yeah, is that a way that joy awakens within you when you're in nature? Is this a way of encouraging you and motivating you to get outside and enjoy the natural habitat? Because that will spark a blaze of joy within you, within your soul, within your being, at the core of who you are. Being in nature and purposely paying attention to nature might be something worth pursuing more. And I'm preaching to the choir here. You know that. Continuing with the Center for Action and Contemplation daily meditation, Dr. Holmes writes, fourth, I would suggest that we begin to ritualize transitions, such as births and deaths, transitions from child to teenager, from teen to adult. Mark these events as special moments of joy. You may be surprised at the number of incidents of joy during the ritualization of sad occasions. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, quote, be peace, Dr. Barbara Holmes is suggesting that we be joy. You may not feel it, but embody it. Live it. Smile it. Is that being fake? She doesn't think so. She thinks it's holding space for the joy already given and received that you may not be aware of yet. It's helping your body to express an inner state of being. End quote for that paragraph. Yeah, I mean, this is getting at really the heart of life as I see it, right? I mean, that inner state of being that your body is living out. Your body is an expression of your inner state. So if you have a smile on your face constantly, or if you don't, if you have a frown on your face constantly, or not even constantly, but just throughout the course of a week, throughout the course of a day, the way in which your body is being held, the way in which you compose yourself is an expression of your inner state of being. And being able to express that through your body, through the way in which you're able to live your life, it not only expresses that for yourself, but it expresses that to other people. And you know how we have this strange interconnectedness with other beings who are living this life while we're living our lives. But I digress. We're going to continue on with this meditation. Here's the final paragraph from Dr. Barbara Holmes. Finally, don't forget the power of community to create spaces of joy when you cannot engender the joy yourself. That joy comes during worship, during fellowship, and even during crisis. Civil rights workers found their joy in music as they came together. Dr. Holmes has always said the greatest antidote to depression and oppression is joy. There's joy coming together of one accord. No matter the circumstances, it was community that empowered the justice movements in this country and in others. So when you feel alone, look at those who are in the struggle with you and those who have gone before. It was a momentum of like minds, focused and trusting in God, that gave activists the energy to face their fears. End quote. Yeah, these certainly do seem like pathways of joy. And that's what we're discussing on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening. It's kind of a deep topic, and one that isn't necessarily, I was going to say it's strange because it's kind of the opposite of what your outside circumstances may be, right? Particularly, I mean, in regards to civil rights workers, is specifically the context for this daily meditation, and talking all about how you can find joy when your outside circumstances don't dictate that. And all the more important of why it's an interior, it's a choice, right? You're free to do it, you're free to not do it. So why don't we choose joy more often? Well, I think that we do get affected by different things in life. And when we're affected by those different aspects of life, they tend to beat on us and affect us more than necessarily we want to give permission for them to do. So why can't we just live choosing joy more? Well, it has a lot to do with our inner stance. which also has to do with taking care of ourselves and taking care of our loved ones. We've covered that many times on the show before, as you know. Being able to choose wisely how you're living your life. My dear friend, it looks like we happen to have a caller calling into the show. Let me see if we can get you on air. And let's see here. Going to the phone line right now.
Press 2.
Caller, are you there? No, it does not look like the caller is there. Okay. Well, that brought me a little bit of excitement and joy in my heart. If you do want to join the conversation, the number to dial 617-843-5393 is the phone number to dial. Or you can just type on the comments field on whatever podcast or live streaming platform that you're checking this out on. For the live show, we do go live on YouTube. And for any of the podcasts, it's just your favorite podcast platform that you can check me out on. And feel free to share if this topic regarding joy is one that resonates with you. Would love to have you share that and interact in that regard. So what do you think about this concept of going down the path of choosing joy? Am I off my rocker to even suggest such a thing? I mean, if I am, then I'm not alone, which is comforting, right? Because Dr. Barbara Holmes, who's a faculty member at the Center for Action and Contemplation, who passed away back in October, she had written this daily meditation that was recently published. It was actually published on Friday, June 20th, 2025, and talking all about how we can find joy through practice and surrendering. And I think the surrendering element comes to surrendering to that higher voice within us. And also making sure that you are hearing it and surrendering to nature that's surrounding you. And in surrendering, we can find the joy. And that's where the practice comes in, right? Of making sure, or not even making sure, but being able to do it repetitively. Choosing joy is a practice. And I hope that you are practicing it, not just on Sundays, though I think that that's a great day to practice, not just when you're able to, but I'll say as much as possible. And it's not something that you have to like formally practice. I think that's where Dr. Holmes's mention of meditation is helpful, is because it has more to do with being mindful, having a full mind of presence of where you're at despite your outside circumstances. And that is what will give you the blaze internally, setting your soul ablaze to live with joy. For anyone just tuning in, we are talking all about joy on Raising Your Inner Voice, and we'll be right back.
Stay with us as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. If you're replacing the windows in your home, please see the Anderson 400 series windows on display at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire. The Anderson 400 is attractive, durable, energy efficient, and reasonably priced. Remember, Anderson is the most trusted name in windows. See the Anderson 400 at any of our 3 locations. That's North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
If you have any issues, topics, or voices that you think would be great to be heard on this show, please reach out, jay.foss@me.com. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, record a voice memo and email it to me, or tune in live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m.
How's your 401k? I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but we can prepare you for life's twists and turns. We'll make a plan to help your money last through your retirement years. Our team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. Let us help. Visit noblefinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Making our corner of the world a little brighter, online and on air. Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
And welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice. Making the corner of the world, your corner of the world, a little brighter. That's what we are attempting to do. Such a gigantic feat. But we are making your corner of the world a little brighter on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening. We're talking all about joy and how joy is a choice. Joy is a choice that you, my dear friend, are able to choose whenever you see the option in front of you. Was reading from a daily meditation from the Center for Action and Contemplation by Dr. Barbara Holmes, who's talking about how joy is a choice. What I would love some pushback on this, because I can think of reasons myself why joy is a choice, and I agree with that. But there can be hard circumstances where you may not want to choose joy. But I think that it's an ideal that we can all strive for. And that's where bringing in brightening your corner of the world is relevant to this topic. And if you do want to call into the show, I'll let you know the number to dial, 617-843-5393, or you can shoot me a message. Feel free to text that phone number, 617-843-5393. You're also welcome to comment on any of the platforms that you're checking this out on. Just tippity tap tap on the clickety clack clack. That's my way of saying type on the keyboard. But yeah, so we're talking about how joy is a choice, and we're not delving necessarily this evening into what brings you joy, right? What makes you come alive? What's the music that gets you going? We're not delving into that aspect. We're delving into the fact that it's a choice that you can choose at any moment in time. And maybe saying that you can choose it at any moment in time sounds like a scary thing. Maybe it sounds too big, like it's not a practical action that you really can do. But I think that if you are talking about that inner pathway, it becoming an inner resource, Dr. Holmes referenced how joy offers a peace that surpasses all understanding. And once you experience joy, once you find those inner pathways, it leaves markers towards those inner resources so that you will never lose sight of them again. Who doesn't want everlasting joy? if only we could all live from that perspective more continually. I won't say constantly because life does happen. But if we could live with that more often, if you could wake up fresh every single day, or at least most days out of the week, wouldn't that be refreshing to not only yourself, but those around you? Being able to live your life and being able to, have an appreciation for everyday graces that come to you. It seems so appealing to me. Would love to get your comments on this. Would love to get your thoughts on this. And as you know, I'm not afraid of a little pushback. Maybe you think that this is absolutely asinine and Jay is off his rocker yet again. You may be right. I'm certainly not against that. Looking to the comments here, Lisa is chiming in. Maybe not practical if you're currently experiencing trauma or pain. I have a hard time choosing joy during a migraine, but I guess I choose joy when I tell myself it will pass. Yeah, Lisa, you're dropping some wisdom there. Yeah. Well, and I think the fact that especially when you are experiencing trauma or pain, acknowledging that it will pass, that it's only momentarily, is a way that you can choose joy. You're describing the way in which you're doing the thing that I'm talking about, right? That's how you can actually choose joy. Because I think, and that's exactly what Dr. Holmes is getting at by saying that once you find those inner pathways, it leaves markers toward those inner resources, right? It's an inner resource that can affect your temporary circumstances so that you never lose sight of them again. And that almost seems like a hard promise to bear. That you would never lose sight of something again, because we all get blindsided in life. We all have life happen to us. But when you're reminded of those choices in reflecting something deeper, I mean, we've talked about this in regards to nature. I mean, that's why nature is so healing for many people, is because it reminds you of the goodness of life, like the starting point of your life. And when you're currently experiencing trauma or pain, that sucks and that's wrong. But choosing joy, I think, helps you overcome it. And that's why Dr. Holmes takes this message and joins it with kind of civil rights workers in how they're affecting change in our world. So it's like keeping our minds focused on the greater good and the good that will not only help us, but help other people. And it's like when we get bogged down into the way that things aren't going but should be going, I think that can distract us from our role. In our role, I mean, how many songs are there regarding love, right? I mean, our role, I think, is to not only accept love in this life, but to give it out. Here we go. Mr. Chris is joining in with a comment. Chris says, joy for me is the everyday view of a Sunday, the shape of the clouds in the serenity of a sunset. That's what I'm talking about, Chris. Bringing in nature. Absolutely. I'm going to repeat that one again. Joy for me is the everyday view of a Sunday, the shape of the clouds in the serenity of a sunset. Why is it that we're so, is nature really a universal healing method that brings joy out in all of us? Getting away from the distraction of technology. It's funny, lately I've been thinking in regards to myself, I think I'm becoming more and more addicted to technology. It's what I use as a tool at work. It's how I help other people through my use of technology. Even when I'm at home, I'm distracted by it constantly. But being in nature is like an antidote to my overzealous addiction and obsession with technology. In the old school technology is nature. Nature puts us back into that right frame of mind. It helps clear our minds and express to us and through us more than what we could ever do on our own. Lisa's chiming back in. She says, it can be exhausting to constantly choose joy, but it gets easier and easier if you practice this skill. The distraction of this busy society can test us. Oh, yeah. Busy. We are all very busy. I'm going to repeat that one again too, because I think that's beneficial. Thank you, Lisa. It can be exhausting to constantly choose joy, but it gets easier and easier if you practice this skill. Why is it so exhausting to choose joy? It is exhausting. You're absolutely right, Lisa. Chris is chiming back in. Chris says technology is the evil and I love so much, but surely it will take over me if I let it. Yeah. And this isn't a technology bashing show. I'm a technology geek, but I think that it goes back to a premise that we have regarding balance, right? And when things get out of control, I'm with you, Chris. When things get out of control, and it seems like technology is the evil, but I love it so much, it will surely take over me if I let it. Yeah. Yeah. And being able to choose joy from that stance, being able to continually, like we always have that option in front of us. The confusing thing is, I don't think that joy is necessarily an easy choice. To Lisa's point, right? It can be exhausting to constantly choose joy. I don't think that it's always the clear choice either. Particularly, well, so many different examples. But Lisa, why are you saying that it's constantly? Why are you saying it's easier? It gets easier and easier if you practice the skill. Would love to hear about that. Yeah, we're talking all about, in case you're just tuning in to Raising Your Inner Voice this evening, we're talking all about how joy is a choice that you can choose. And what spurred this conversation is a daily meditation from the Center for Action and Contemplation titled Pathways to Joy. Dr. Barbara Holmes describes how we can find joy through practice and surrender. And I read that earlier today. I read that earlier in the show, that is, the daily meditation, and would love to have you chime in about this. If you want to call into the show, you're certainly welcome to call in 617-843-5393, or just type on the comment field on the platform that you're listening on. Yeah, this entire conversation is invigorating to me. And it's bringing me much joy, which makes it easier to choose. I think when we're shown joy, when we're given joy, and maybe that's why nature is so refreshing for so many of us, is because nature can give us joy. The simple sight of an animal passing by takes us out of our perspective. It balances us. It refills us, as opposed to the distractions of a busy society that's focused on more what it can get from us, how it can test us, how we can help it instead of being good enough, because you are good enough. For what? For your life, for your enjoyment, for your joy is what I meant. Your complete enjoyment. So how do we be joy? How is it that despite our circumstances, you can choose joy? I mean, what does that mean? It's a very abstract. I'm a big picture person, so I get into the abstract pretty quickly, as you know. higher views from me, which is why I love having other people chime in. So that way it brings me back down to earth with more of the practical side of things, of how do you actually be joy? What does that mean? I think a lot of it has to do with letting yourself be honest about your inner state. I'm going to reread Dr. Holmes's last paragraph because I think that's helpful and beneficial. She says, finally, don't forget the power of community to create spaces of joy when you cannot engender the joy yourself. That joy comes during worship, during fellowship, and even during crisis. Civil rights workers found their joy in music as they came together. She's always said the greatest antidote to depression and oppression is joy. There's joy coming together of one accord. When you feel alone, look at those who are with you in the struggle and those who have gone before. No matter the circumstances, it was community that empowered the justice movements in this country and in others. It was a momentum of like minds focused and trusting in God that gave activists the energy to face their fears. End quote. Lisa's chiming back in. The more you see the outcome of choosing joy, it makes you feel better about yourself. So I tend to do it more. Someone gave me the finger the other day in traffic, and I chose not to do it back. Oh, yeah, that's good. Two thoughts on that. One is that is big of you and strong of you to not just flip the person off back. The second is I think everything is meant within context, right? Because I have some very close loved ones who flip me off and I flip them off, and it's more like a joke. It brings out more joy as opposed to a stranger giving you the finger, right? In the middle of traffic. It's not meant with the same love. It's not, I mean, typically in that particular stance, I would say it's not meant in love at all. It's probably meant out of frustration. But I mean, choosing joy in that specific scenario, it's hard. That is hard to do. I like what you said, Lisa, in regards to the more you see the outcome of choosing joy, it makes you feel better about yourself. So I tend to do it more. Yeah, that's really encouraging. In wanting to choose joy more And again, I think that this is the type of thing where it's both for ourselves and for other people. It's the both and scenario. My dear friend Joanne, I'm shouting you out in this regard. It's the both and. It's not either or. It's not benefiting one or the other. It's the both and in life. And I think that is, that is the best outcome scenario, is when you're not only feeling better about yourself, but the outcome of choosing joy makes you be able to do it more, which spreads that joy. And then you're not just being joy in your own life for the sake of yourself, but now you're able to actually affect and bring out joy in other people. Lisa says, why work myself up? Absolutely. Why work myself up? I don't want to be embarrassed by my behavior later. My 12-year-old son was in the car as well. Yeah. Yeah. In avoiding embarrassment is definitely a good motivator. Chris is chiming in. Joy for me would be able to meditate, but it's still elusive to me, sitting and trying to be quiet. And in this world, as it asks you more and more to listen. Jay, tell me the best way to be quiet. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't tell you the best way to be quiet other than listening to yourself. I mean, that's the best thing that I've come across. How is it that you can be quiet? I mean, going out into nature certainly helps. It helps release that monkey mind in giving your perspective to something else aside from whatever it is that your thoughts are getting carried away with. Because thoughts, as we all know, aren't bad. It's like technology, right? Technology in and of itself isn't bad. It's just when it gets carried away, when the thoughts become overwhelming and you're overthinking things that make it hard to choose joy. But being able to take a deep breath as I say that, right? That it's not just my perspective isn't everything. And that is a great relief to me. I hope it is for you. Being able to step back from myself is certainly something that encourages more joy. And again, that goes back to like the spreading it to other people, which then reinforces it. I mean, to Lisa's point, which reinforces it within myself, because you're seeing the outcome of choosing joy. And you feel better by encouraging that in other people and seeing that outcome. As well as not being embarrassed by your own actions. Oh, there's enough embarrassment to go around anyways that we really don't need more embarrassment. Oh my goodness. Life is embarrassing enough on its own. The least that we can do is choose joy, to laugh about it and not take it so seriously. Yeah. Choosing joy. That's the topic on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening. Appreciate everyone that's joined in so much. This is a blast. If you would like to join the conversation, feel free to send me a message or give me a call, 617-843-5393. You can call the number anytime. You're welcome to dial it and leave a voicemail that I will get to. Or you can shoot me a voice message at the same phone number. You can email me as well, jay.f as in Frank, oss as in Sam @me.com. And I was about to get all corny and say, that would bring me a lot of joy. Yeah, of course it would, Jay. Thank you very much. Okay. But yeah, I think that talking about this, right, makes me realize that this is a way of living a better life. This is a way of being able to express your inner state in a better way. Lisa's chiming back in again. I went to birding camp on a small island in Maine. Oh, really? No cars are on this island and just us campers and counselors. We ate outside every meal, hiked, and went birding. So much easier to choose joy. Yes! That's what I'm getting at. Thanks for sharing that, Lisa. That birding doesn't sound interesting to me, but the way that you're phrasing it, being on an island where there are no cars, right? Where you have to hike, share meals every day with other campers and counselors, and even going birding. I assume by birding you mean bird watching, to check out different birds. Yeah, obviously you mean bird watching because you wouldn't be going and bragging about hunting birds, I assume, in such a scenario at camp. But that sounds like a great time on an island. Yeah, so much easier to choose joy in that setting and scenario. How do you fit more of that into your life? How do we get more joy? Not necessarily what is the joy that you're choosing. And it's a relief that we get to choose it. I think that the fact that we don't have to get sidetracked and sidelined by technology is something that's really helpful. Oh, good. Okay, so Lisa says, I learned listening to birds for 10 minutes can reduce stress, proven by science. Wow, interesting. So I'm assuming you're starting to like notice the different calls, right? And paying attention, giving a lot of your attention to birding. Yeah, that's really helpful and insightful. Turning back over to Chris. Chris says, music is the only way for me to see beyond the hate that clouds me every day in views. The one song that always clears the clouds is Saturday in the Park by Chicago. Yeah, that is a great song, Chris. I mean, as a fellow DJ, music speaks volumes to me. I mean, music, I think, speaks volumes to all of us. That's why I think it's the perfect analogy for what makes you come alive. Because everyone can have, it's okay to have a completely different opinion than everyone else. And that's fine. It's actually a good thing. In fact, that's the way that we can actually share life better and not get so judgmental about other people's lives, is through cultivating this inner joy and letting other people see what makes you come alive. And that's the same way that we share music. You share music that's meaningful to you, and hopefully it'll spark something for someone else. If it doesn't, no problem. It does it for me. So it doesn't need to spark something for other people. For Chris, music is the only way to see beyond the hate that clouds me every day in views. Yeah, because it's really easy to get bogged down with views. I mean, you know this. We don't really delve into politics on this show because politics end up being divisive. Not saying that it doesn't matter and doesn't affect life, because clearly that is true. However, I don't know that many people where politics spark joy, because it's not an internal thing. And that's why I think nature and music are both things that instead can spark that for each other, for all of us. We're talking all about joy and how you can choose joy. Choosing joy. Is it a choice for you on Raising Your Inner Voice this Sunday evening? We are going to take another short break. We'll be right back. I really appreciate the participation that we've had so far on the show. Yeah. Are you choosing joy? I sure am right now.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice.
Are you worried about the stock market, your 401k, or rising costs? Hi, I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but our dedicated team of professionals can better prepare you so your money lasts as long as you do. Let us help. Visit noblefinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Hi, folks. Paul from Gentilly Brewing. Have you been to our tap room in Beverly, Massachusetts yet? No? What? Oh, come on. All of our beer is gluten reduced, and we make our own hard seltzer cocktails and shandies. And we are dog and family friendly. Always. Our tap room is more than just beer. Pack up the kids and the dogs and come to 59 Park Street and see it for yourself. Or leave them at home. You'll be back. For upcoming events, hours, and to see our current beer list, visit GentiliBrewing.com. That's GENTILE Brewing.com to plan your visit.
What does living a better life mean? And what's your process in figuring that out? If you want to join in the conversation live, tune in Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Gather your thoughts first. Record a voice memo and email it to jay.foss@me.com because I would love to have your voice in this conversation. If you think someone else might need a conversation like this one, then let them know to get involved.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. Professional builders choose Anderson Windows because they are the #1 trusted and recommended window and door brand in the United States. Anderson Windows and patio doors offer beautiful natural wood interiors, low maintenance exteriors, and outstanding energy efficiency. See the complete line of Anderson Windows on display at Moynihan Lumber in Beverly, North Reading, and Plastown, New Hampshire, or visit us at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
Not just another talk show. It's time to be heard. Online and on air. Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
And on Raising Your Inner Voice, we are talking about choosing joy in the way in which you can choose joy despite your circumstances, but despite what's going on around you, you have the capability to choose joy and to put on the songs that get you motivated and grooving. Maybe to go outside and start doing like Lisa and listening to the birds. Maybe it's like Chris and you're throwing on some Chicago to clear the gloominess and clouds of your day so that way you can view the sunsets of life. We encourage you to do that. What kicked off this entire conversation was a daily meditation from the Center for Action and Contemplation from Dr. Barbara Holmes regarding pathways to joy and how joy is a choice. And it's something that seems to be resonating with you. I mean, certainly if you've stuck through this episode long enough, you know what you're able to choose in life. And being able to choose more joy in your life, getting more joy in your life, but not just for you, but letting that joy emanate from within inside you is really crucial to, I think it not only will reduce stress for you, it's not only going to provide you with a better, healthier standpoint, but it's going to help those around you to be more joy-filled and joyful which, if you're like me, is only gonna it's gonna keep on giving, right? With kids, many times I've overheard parents say, "Don't yuck someone else's yum." Don't yuck someone else's yum. But this is like the opposite of that. This is yumming someone else's yum. That's the most ridiculous phrase I've said yet. Yeah, this is a way of encouraging in others what is encouraging to you as well. Lisa, I think, sums it up perfectly. It's a ripple effect. Absolutely. It is a ripple effect that causes you more joy and hopefully causes more joy in others, that when you can see that outcome will cause more joy within you. And it's all internal because it's the choice that you're choosing. And you're able to choose despite the circumstances around you, which is why for Dr. Barbara Holmes, she took it and went to the civil rights movements and how the greatest antidote to depression and oppression is joy. So depression, right, is something internally. Oppression, something external. But joy, which starts off internal, is an antidote to both depression and oppression. And I don't think it's saying that everything is going to be perfect, right? I don't think it's a blind joy that isn't grounded in reality. I think it's giving yourself something that is so much better. Chris is chiming back in, loving the summary. Don't ying someone else's yang. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can say it so many ways, but really at the end of the day, it's yeah. We all want that, don't we? More joy in our lives. And you have control over it. That's one of the few things that you do have control over is your perspective. And you can choose joy regardless of your circumstances. Regardless of how you're getting this message, it can still impact you and hopefully will, for the positive, for the better. And I'm hoping that then you will get the ripple effect that Lisa's talking about, and that it will spread from there. That in fact, it is a blaze from within yourself that becomes contagious for other people in a good sense of contagion. No one wants the bad sense of contagiousness. Yeah. Oh, my friends, this has been so good. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for participating. And thank you for being along this ride and this journey with me. It not only brings me joy, but I'm hoping that it encourages and motivates and gives you momentum for joy in your own life. That you would be able to spread that joy to those around you. And that in return would fill you up more. Because it's all about you until you realize that it's not just you, but life is about all of us together. And you're a part of that. Thanks again for being here. Please be kind and gentle with yourself and share that same grace and joy with others.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please help spread the word about raising your inner voice. Join the conversation live. Email jay.foss@me.com to suggest ideas to explore. Also, share this podcast with your friends. Let those who need conversations like this have a chance to check it out.
Then let them know to get involved.